This is one of my favorite language learning resources. It's called Assimil New French with Ease. And recently I finished working my way through it. There are 113 lessons in the book, and there are lots of videos on YouTube that have done reviews on the Assimil series. I love these. I think they're fantastic. One of the things I like about them is that you know what you're going to do every day. So there's 113 lessons, and they're divided up into 7-day increments. So 6 days a week you work through a new lesson, and on the 7th day you do review. And I did that pretty faithfully from the beginning to the end. Now, before I started this book, I already knew a fair bit of French, but I still thought it was such an excellent way to solidify some of the things that I've learned before, to learn some new things, and to just keep in a rhythm of using French every day. So this book was fantastic, and because this was so good, I hadn't seen this Assimil series before, but because it was so good, I bought a whole bunch more. I've got here German with Ease. I did German when I was in high school. I did 4 years of German, and it was very theoretical. In all the classes that I took, we hardly talked at all. I don't think we ever had a conversation in German. But anyhow, I want to work through the same series, this Assimil series in German. I have lots of other German resources. You can see behind me that I have a lot of language learning resources. I have many Teach Yourself books, and the Colloquial Series, and all kinds of other random theories. But as I say, I'm very fond of this Assimil series. After you finish the first Assimil French book called New French with Ease, there's another volume called Using French, and this is designed to take you further in your French. Now, this is a good level for me because I think that in every lesson I'm going to learn something new, which in the first book, it wasn't that I learned so much new stuff, but it was really good to listen to the audio every day. I'll show you in a second. I've got a new course here that I'll open up, and we'll take a look at what's included. But this is a shorter course, but it goes to a further level. I find that I've looked at some of the levels ahead, and I found that some of it's going to be good. I feel like I'm going to stretch and learn lots of new stuff. Now, I'm at the point in my French where I can have conversations pretty comfortably. I can text. I was just texting with somebody in Ottawa the other day in the morning and realizing how little I actually write in French. But my French is at a good level. But some of these books are just so good that I recommend even using lower level books. Even if you've got a fair bit of the language that you're studying, you'll find that you still learn new stuff, and you reinforce things, and you see things from a different angle, and perhaps the author explains something in a new way, and it just is really valuable. So here's another thing that I bought recently. I got a lot of new resources. It's not that I've got a lot of money to buy things, but everybody has their little indulgence. Some guys have a motorcycle. Some people have horses or cameras or musical instruments or whatever. My thing is language learning goodies. So this is one of the other Assimil programs that I bought recently here in Canada, where I live, and you can see that the title of this one is in French, because the Assimil programs are actually produced in France, and there's about a dozen or so languages that are done in English, but many more that are done in French. Now, I speak some Brazilian Portuguese, but I really want to learn a lot more, and the Brazilian Portuguese title that is produced by Assimil is only done in French. So this will be one of my first experiences of learning another language through a language that's not my native tongue. My French is strong enough to do this, but again, what I love about these Assimil series is that they include so much audio, and I will listen to these audio programs over and over and over and over again. I'll listen to one dialogue repeatedly until I can understand it. And part of what I'm going to introduce today is my strategy for internalizing these kits and getting all of this information from this box into this box. So I'll tell you how I do that, and I think you'll find it helpful. Another one of the courses that I bought recently, again, this one is in French because the Polish title done by Assimil is not available in English. So this one's still got the plastic on it. I'm going to take it off, and we'll take a look, and I'll show you the what you get in one of these courses. So I've got my little tool here for opening these without damaging the kit, and I'm going to remove the plastic. Okay. Sometimes I hear people sometimes complain that their language learning resources are expensive. So in Canada, this kit right now was, I think it was $82. And I think for what you get for $82, this is a pretty good buy. You think, how many hours would you get with a tutor for $82? And what do you get in here for $82? I think it's pretty good. So this is Polish, and the language of instruction is French. But the kits are all the same, whether you get the English ones or the French ones or whatever. So it comes in a box like this, and there's a sleeve on it that you remove, and then inside there's a box like this, and inside the box is all the fun part. So here we go. You will see in here that we've got all the CDs that are included, and usually they come in audio CDs and an MP3 version. I like to use the MP3 version of the disc in my car, and I'll just play the dialogues over and over and over again. When I did that French course, the New French with Ease, I couldn't tell you how many times I listened to those dialogues, but it was a lot. And I think that that's really important. I listen to them until I can understand every single word in the dialogue. And it might be 10 times and it might be 50 times, but I get it until I could understand every single word of that without even thinking about it. So here's the textbook, Le Polonais en français. And the CDs are in this little package here, which I will endeavor to remove. There we go. So you can see here's all the CDs, and I think this one at the end here is probably, yeah, that's the MP3 version. So here's all the regular CDs, and here's the MP3 version with everything, all of the dialogues from this entire book on here. One of the things that I really like about Assimil is there's not a lot of English. Well, there's no English at all. In this case, I wouldn't worry about it because it's a French book, but there's nothing in it except the target language. So when you put on the dialogue, you hear nothing but your target language, and it plays the entire dialogue for you without any interruption, and a whole lot of blah 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 at the beginning and introduction to it. All of that's gone. That's wonderful. I really appreciate that. So that's Le Polonais by Assimil. Another program I bought recently, I think this one is kind of, it's a series that is being replaced with a newer series, but this is Living Language Tagalog. In my city, in Vancouver, the three largest languages spoken by immigrant populations are first Chinese, second is Punjabi, and third is Tagalog. We have a lot of Filipinos in this city. Many have come here. They're in all kinds of areas of work in the city, but one of the places you can speak Tagalog for sure is in the hospitals, because we have so many nurses that have come from the Philippines. And I have many Filipino friends, especially in my church. And you walk around the city and you can definitely have opportunities to speak Chinese, Punjabi, and Tagalog, among all the other languages. But this was a real nice surprise for me. It was not expensive. It was under 40 Canadian dollars. I think it was around $35 Canadian. Just let me show you what's in here. It's, again, a package of a book and some CDs. The book is excellent. One of the best things about this book is that it explains everything. I just hate language learning books that include vocabulary in the dialogues that are not in the word lists. And so sometimes you can't even find the word in the glossary at the back of the book. So you have no idea what these words mean and how they fit together. In this book, they explain every detail. Like every word that shows up in the dialogues is in the vocabulary list. And so although you ultimately can't be translating word for word because it doesn't work and it sounds stupid if you do it, at least you can look at the language and say, oh, okay, so that's how that works. That's why that little word is in there that we would never have in English. Oh, so that's the word order. And you can understand everything that's going on. This is really great. This is really, really great. Love it. And furthermore, what I like about the program is the CDs that came with it. there is 6 CDs. And there's 2 sets. One set is designed for studying, and another one is just an all-audio program. Again, wonderful for listening to in the car, as long as you can maintain control of your car, which I do a very good job of. You can listen to your target language while you're driving around. Or if, like me, you have a wife who goes into the grocery store and takes a little while, I sit in the car and study. I'm useless. I'm no help in the grocery store, and I just ask for stuff that we shouldn't buy. So it's better that I sit in the car and learn Tagalog. Love that course, that Tagalog course, and that's another new one for me. What else have I got here? Oh, when I do my French, by the way, when I did the Assimil French, you do 2 waves. The first wave you do is called a passive wave, and you listen to everything, and you read the notes, and you work your way through it. But then you go back. Once you hit lesson 50, you go back, and you start at number 1. When you're doing 51, you do number 1 at the same time, but now you translate from English into your target language. So I do this in my head, and I also do it in writing. And I'm very fond of this particular brand of notebook. They're called Moleskine. Actually, nobody knows how to pronounce the name. And on the company website, there's a big mystery around the pronunciation of the name. I'm calling them Moleskine. But they're more expensive than most notebooks, but they're very, very well made. And so I write out my dialogues when I translate from English to French. Because what I'm doing, since English is my mother tongue, I'm always trying to think, how would I say that in French? I don't really need to know how would I say that French thing in English. My French is certainly adequate to do that, and if I finish that first wave in the Assimil book, certainly I should be able to understand what's happening. The hard work for me is to speak in my target language, whether it's French or Polish or Brazilian Portuguese or whatever. So I spend my time translating and writing out all my dialogues here, and I mark them up, write all over them. I keep a log of my study every day, and I'll describe that in some more detail coming up. Another series that I have a lot of is the Teach Yourself series. And Teach Yourself books have been around for a long time, like me. I've been around for a long time. And I used to buy these books when they were yellow books with a blue highlight color on the top. Some of you my age or so will remember those. And they've changed their look over the years, but they still make these. And this particular version is the newest version of Ukrainian. The book has, again, complete Ukrainian textbook. It's well done, well organized, and a couple of CDs. My only complaint about the CDs with Teach Yourself books is that they do have a lot of English in them. They introduce the scenario and they talk, and there's a lovely lady with a British accent who says, okay, now we're in a restaurant, we're going to listen to Stephen and Ivan talking in Ukrainian and listen to this dialogue, blah, 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 in English, and then you finally get a little bit of Ukrainian. I just want to hear Ukrainian. I want to get the sound of Ukrainian in my ears. I want to hear the accent. I want to hear the rhythm. I don't really want to develop a British accent, not that it's not beautiful or anything. It's just not my goal. So all the time spent on those CDs with English people talking, for me, is a waste of time. But the programs are really good. And so again, my interest is, okay, here's a wonderful kit. It's a book that is, this size, and a couple of CDs. So this, how do I get this information, this book, this size, out of this book and into here, and so that I can use it consistently? I've been doing this for a long time. I've been learning languages since I was a teenager, and I've learned a bunch of them, some of them to a pretty good degree of fluency, and other ones I dabble in, and they're all over the range. But I have developed a system that I think is pretty effective for how to transfer something out of this box into this box. And that's what I'm going to talk about. There's 7 steps, 7 activities that you need to do to transfer this from here to here. Or to here to your heart, maybe, because I think it's not really just strictly a brain activity. But I'll talk about that as well. So follow me through the next set of videos, and we'll talk about how to internalize a language learning kit in 7 steps. Talk to you soon.